Squawk, squawk. I'm like a bird and a person. We just chillin' and rehearsing. Pow. Please don't make fun of my shirt. The dryer did this. But pretty cool, huh? Keyblade. Hi, I'm DW. And what I'd like to say is Chivalry is not dead yet. So what I'd like to go over is what I think Chivalry is, some of my backstory, some of my opinions, some things I've been noticing lately, some experiences, maybe some other stuff, and we'll finish it with a conclusion. So yeah, let's begin. What I think Chivalry means is how a person conducts themselves, like utilizing proper mannerisms based on societal standards, but that can be open to different interpretations due to the fact that societies function differently all around the world. That's what I think it is. Maybe it makes sense, maybe it doesn't. If it doesn't, then yeah, let's ask Google. Google it, buddy. Buddy. I am buddy. Okay, Google, help me please, where are you? Okie dokie. Chivalry definition. The methods of training and standards of behavior for knights in the Middle Ages. The Code of Chivalry emphasized bravery, military skill, generosity in victory, piety, and courtesy to women. The part that we're talking about, the courtesy to women part. Yeah, and that's straight out of Google. From some definition website they got it from, I'm assuming, or their own. So yeah, that's what I think Chivalry is. And now I want to get into a little history. So what I think, well, where I first started seeing it and thought to myself, I want to follow that. I think I was about 5 years old. I was living in New York City with my father, and I noticed he would have a lot of chivalrous behavior that he display consistently. For some examples, but not limited to, are like whenever we took public transportation, like in commute to like school, work, or wherever we were going, whatever adventures we were going on. Like let's say we were like on a bus or a train and it was packed. Then someone elderly, disabled, pregnant, maybe just didn't look like they felt well. If my dad like took note of that and that person was just standing there, he would take into consideration how uncomfortable that they may be. And he'd say, hey son, let's get up and give up our seats to this person. And then also, like, there are a lot of street performers in New York City, so like if there was somebody who'd come do like a street performance, then he'd like here you go. Like he didn't necessarily want to give them anything for their performance, or sometimes they did have a good performance, but he just felt, okay, since they demonstrated some sort of performance in front of me, they're trying to earn something, I'll just tip them anyway, just for their attempted services, whether he liked it or not. He'd hold the door for like, well, it didn't matter if you were like male or woman, he didn't mind holding the door for you, but he was just more courteous to women when he did it. He'd display a lot of gentleman tendencies. Here you go, sister. All right, thank you. Just things that I saw growing up with my dad, and those are things that I wanted to emulate. So that's a little touch on some of the early chivalrous things that I used to see when I was a kid. Alright, so as I started getting older and noticed my attraction for females, then, you know, I started to practice chivalrous behavior towards them. I mean, I practiced it like either, regardless of if I was or wasn't attracted to them, I just thought it was a proper way of conducting myself. You know, all that stuff I said before that my dad does, I do that. But it wasn't like exclusive to women. I just did things that I thought was right at the time. But let's talk about dating. So, particularly my Las Vegas experience. I've been living in Las Vegas for about 7 years. I've dated between 11 and 15 females. And, yeah. You know, now when I practice like chivalrous things, like I'd open the door for the girl, I'd go. Matter of fact, let's just start with, I feel it's my duty to usually approach the woman. If I see a woman that I'm interested in, I'm going to walk up to her, I'm going to introduce myself, ask her her name, and see if I can get some sort of connection with her and see if she'd like to maybe set something up in the future, spend some time together. That's what I think is like my role as the chivalrous male. I also then think, okay, I have to set up like a date. I gotta get our schedules to match. I have to make sure I have sufficient funds to make sure everything runs smoothly within the date, and make sure that I'm arranging a great time for the both of us. So that is what I think my responsibilities are as a male. You know, besides that holding the door stuff, you know, go pretty much pick them up, pay for the date, and just make sure they have a wonderful magic time, because I want them to feel great, and in turn, I'd like to feel great as well. So, you know, that's usually how I go about things. And when I think about it, kind of sucks, cause like now in the age that we're living, women have been fighting for equality. Well, women and men have been fighting for more equality amongst women to like get them up to where the level of where men are. And you know what? I agree. I want women to be as equal as men. But, you know, it kind of gets annoying, like, paying every single time for the dates. Like, I've been, let's go with the lowest number. Like, I've been, okay, so I've dated 11 females out here in Vegas. Alright, so only once did one woman say, no, I'll pay my own, like, bill. I had to convince her that, hey, you drove us out here, I'll pay the bill, no sweat. That was back when I didn't have a car, but, you know, I believe in some sort of compensation. Only once, so it's like over a 90% chance that I'm going to be doing the majority of paying for things. I'm like, well, why can't you just, like, go half and half with me, or cover your own stuff? Or how about if we go on this date today, okay, I'll pay for the date today, you pay for the date tomorrow. Equality, that's what you want, right? But yeah, they just pretty much expect a lot out of you. Like this one female that I had been going out with, seeing for 8 months, like years back here, she it just seemed like we were compatible, but she was kind of crazy. One day we were like months and months later, like us going out together, like we started talking about marriage, and she said that if we were to get married, then, because I told her pretty much, whoever I marry is going to have to sign a prenuptial agreement, because I have to protect my assets. But don't worry, I'm not going to just, I would never leave a person behind, but I need to make sure I'm safe, you know? And her mindset was like, I would never sign a prenup. Like, if I get tired of the relationship and we get a divorce, then I am entitled to half of your stuff. And I thought that was pretty evil. Kind of glad that didn't work out, because I don't think I would have convinced her to, I mean, it was a bit heartbreaking, all that time I placed in it, to it, but I'm glad that, because I don't think I would have convinced her, hey, sign this agreement, because I don't want you to try to leech my stuff if we don't connect in the future. But yeah, that's some of my experiences. I even had this one time where like I took a girl out and we were going to a club together, and so we're online, and then this guy in front of us has his friends get in front of us, pretty much. His friends just come off the street and just get in like, hey friend. So I don't know, it's about it's like 4 dudes now, and the girl I'm with, she just starts freaking going off on them pretty much. Well, not hardcore, but just complaining about it. And you know what? I agreed with her. So I just stood behind her since she was already in front of me. I let her go. If like they were to step up, then I would have taken the lead, because no, you are in the wrong. You should not have been cutting us. But with the response of those other dudes were pretty much, oh man, we're sorry, my bad. And then they got out of line and went behind us. And I was like, alright, it's cool. You know what this girl does? She's like, no man, that's BS. And she still keeps going. And she starts calling them names. And I'm just like, sweetie, stop it. Like, it's one, I don't mind fighting for a girl if she's in the right. But don't send me into battles when you are in the wrong. Because I'll try to fight that battle. And then you're getting clocked too for sending me out there for that battle. So, yeah. And you know, women lately, I've seen like lots of material that on women thinking they can just hit men and men won't fight back. And I'm just like, me personally, I will hit a woman. If you hit me, I will knock you out. And don't ever give me that you're not a man because you'd hit a woman. Because I don't train, I don't like go to the gym or shadow box to fight a woman. But if a woman tries to inflict some sort of pain on me, then best believe she's catching that RKO. So yeah, that was a couple of things for my romantic times. I mean, I got more stuff with shenanigans, but not gonna go into all of that. I mean, a little about me that I would think a woman would be appealing to a woman is got a steady job, frickin' salary, degree, my own home, my own car, self-sufficient. I got dental, medical insurance, do some stock marketing. I got decent, pretty good credit. I pretty responsible, traveled the world, been to 3 continents, supportive person. Yeah, you'd think that'd be enough. I mean, you'd think a girl would be like, ooh, I want to take this guy home to mom and dad. Oh, the joke's on you, kid. I mean, my mom says I'm handsome, but the lie detector test, I guess, determined that was a lie. I'm like, look at this. I can't wear makeup and change this. I don't got it like that. Oh man, but yeah, you would think that would be enough, wouldn't it? Minus the not really handsome part. I mean, I used to think it was me, but then I have friends who are in the same boat, and I think they're probably more attractive, dress cooler, more extroverted and social than I am, and they too seem to have like difficulties maintaining a steady girl. Like, it's like girls just I guess we're just lame. We get boring. I don't know. Matter of fact, let's go into some stories. I knew this, I work with this guy right now. He's been married for 5 years, and his wife is divorcing him. His wife, well, his ex-wife, was a single mother previously, and you know, he took on the responsibilities of being a stepdad to a child, which I give big ups to men who take on the responsibility as being a stepdad to a child, because that can be a lot at times, you going into that, but that just really means you care for that person. And big ups, I had a stepdad as well, and I love my stepdad, rest in peace to him. I love my real dad way more, but I love my stepdad. Big ups to stepdads. Anyway, yeah, so this dude, he's decided to take on burdens that weren't even his. And you know, after about 5 years, she just wants a divorce. And unfortunately, he's financially linked to her, as in, like, there's a car that she drives around that's pretty much in his name when they were still together. I guess, I don't know, maybe she's not financially responsible enough. So he decided, okay, I'll co-sign with you. And now that's linked to his credit, so he's got to help maintain this car thing while she can be, like, irresponsible. And that's a burden to him. She still wants him to help take care of the kid. He still considers the kid even his child. Like, he calls the kid his son, even though it's not genetically his son. And, you know, you don't appreciate that, but that's just one of many. I had this other dude that I used to work with years ago. One day he came to work super bummed, and he was just like, yeah, I was talking to him, and he was just telling me, like, how his fiance, his girl of girlfriend of 4 years. They were engaged, and she lived out of state from the state that he was working, where he was working. So I'd say they were like 4 to 6 months. They were in a long distance relationship. Anyway, he flew her out to the state that we're living in, and he was like, okay. They had a great time together, and then upon departure, like at their time frame together, upon departure at the airport, she's all crying and telling him she loves him and how much she's gonna miss him and how she can't wait to get married to him, and it just touches the guy's heart. And then a week later after that, this day at work with him, he finds out, yeah, she doesn't want me anymore, just out of the blue. And then come to find out about 2-3 weeks later, there's another guy involved back home with her. So it was like 4 years down the drain. Where's your sense of loyalty? I mean, this guy flew you out here. Give him his money back. You just strung him along. And you know, girls, they tend to do that. Like, I've seen countless cases. I know this one dude that I like started working with 6 years ago. 6 years ago, we were talking about like a couple of my coworkers. They were talking about like their girlfriends and wives. And he was telling us how awesome his wife was and stay-at-home mom, and they just have an awesome relationship. And then my friends were like, yeah, she's gonna cheat on you. And then he's like, nah, she would never do that. And then like he was been like that for years. And then I find out last year that he got a divorce because some dude, it's like he showed a picture of his wife to some dude, and some dude was like, ooh, I recognize her. Strap yourself in, buddy. I got some bad news for you. And yeah, that's pretty horrible. Like horrible scenarios. And I mean, watch the frickin' Maury show. That is a horror story in itself. I mean, imagine getting dragged onto television by this woman just to find out that you possibly are the father, or you're not the father, which is lucky for you, huh? I mean, like, and then it'd be like the fifth dude. It's like, oh man, fingers crossed, you are the father. No, this scandalous woman just got me, and I'm linked to her. It's horrible. And the really, really unfortunate guys are the guys who really love the woman, and it's like, you know what, I'm gonna be there for her anyway, even though she cheated on me and the kid's not mine. And, you know, I don't know, how long has the Maury show been out? I'm pretty sure it's still going on today in 2017. It's been out since, like, the 90s, late or early 90s. That's, how many paternity tests is that? How many you are not the fathers have I heard? I mean, like, and then, like, so many cases. I mean, can you stop phone? Anyway, yeah, men do cheat too, and eye whammies to them when they cheat on good girls, because good girls are seemingly more and more of an endangered species, so please don't cheat on a good girl. But yeah, that's some arbitrary things. In fact, one more thing, I've heard numerous stories of guys coming home, guys, particularly service members, coming home from like the war zones or overseas environments that just had some hardships. They come home and they find out they're financially just depleted, they're in debt. Their wives, girlfriends, spouses, whoever cheated on them, or pregnant by some other dude. Just horrible scenarios. Numerous times I've heard of this. I'm like, oh my goodness, women are terrifying creatures. My image of women have been shattered after my previous relationships. Just like, I used to think most girls are good, now I'm just like, most girls are bad, and then good girls are a frickin' minority. It's horrible. You know what? Enough of this arbitrary stuff. Let me hit you with some statistics, guys. Hello, Internet. Internet says hi back. Okay. In America, 50% of first-term marriages end in divorce. The percentages increase in second and third marriages. So if it's your second marriage, then 60-something% of those marriages ended in divorce. So third marriage, about 3/4 of those marriages have ended in divorce. And this is according to the Forrest Institute of Professional Psychology in Springfield, Missouri. All right, another study shows that 2/3 of the time, women initiate the divorces. Depending on what state, it's 70%. So depending on state marriage laws, then bam, 70% of the time women are initiating the divorce. And depending on educational factors like college-educated couples, it can get bumped up to 90% of the time women are initiating divorces. Ugh. And this study was cited in the American Law and Economics Review in 2000. Alright, so yeah, Men, we typically end up being like end up paying alimony to women a lot in like divorces because we primarily, the majority of the time, are the breadwinners. We go out and we do the frickin' work while wife stays home, tends to the household, tends to the kids if you got them. Just do stay at home wife kind of stuff. And you know, that's like sucks for the guy, I guess. I mean, over 90% of alimony is paid to women. But over 40% of U.S. households, women are the breadwinners, according to the U.S. Census. But alimony getting paid to men is on the rise. So yay, not really. I mean, if a woman is paying off alimony to a man, then likely that was the kind of woman you wanted to marry if you were a good guy and she was a good girl. And maybe she married a douchebag, but who knows? Circumstantial. Anyway, yeah. In some states, though, women are starting to lobby together to change alimony laws. Oh my goodness, 3% of men? 3% of the time men are getting paid alimony? Ugh, we need to change these alimony laws. I was like, welcome to our world. Alrighty, here's another study. Alright, 2010 report, only 18% of fathers get custody over their children. Almost 50% of dads can't visit their kids, but have to financially support them. 29% of men opposed to 53% of women in custody of child receive financial support. So yeah, and that was in a 2012 report, and these reports are by the U.S. Census Bureau. So, I mean, it's like men are getting killed out there, like chivalrous behavior. Marriage is on the decline in America, and you can see, when I throw these kind of factors at you, you can see why. And in turn, chivalrous behavior is also, because it's like, well, if there's less traditional women in America, then there's going to be less traditional men. So next time you hear one of those Riris saying, "We're all the good men," you just remember that it's because it's a deficit of good women, probably. In conclusion, I think chivalry is still there. I think it's antiquated, but I still think I'll practice it. I feel primitive for doing so, but if we want it to grow, then I think women are going to need to get on board. I think this wave of feminism in America has disrupted the traditional idea, like the idea of what a traditional woman is to females, and like I've noticed that they're more likely to be belittling. Like, I've dated a feminist before, and she was very belittling to me, and like she expected a lot out of me, but she did not produce as much as me. So, I mean, in my opinion, I think it's just if you want to see chivalry back on the rise, and if you like are interested in marriage and stuff, then I think that women should get together and try to renegotiate their roles as women in society. I do think overall that yes, more equality is great, but if you want to be equal, then you're going to have to start acting the part. I mean, don't become men, but don't put such a large burden on men and like think you could be so entitled to the things that we produce. And the same goes for guys, but I just, in my opinion, I think, well, I'm pretty sure it's a higher percentage for girls who adopt these negative behaviors. As for men, I mean, I'm not quite in the He-Man Woman Haters Club yet, aka MGTOW. MGTOW. Also, yeah, MGTOW, men going their own way. I think that's starting to gain some traction, and I've looked into it. I'm not quite there yet, but I just feel myself slowly going into it. I don't know, maybe 2-3 more girls later from now, and MGTOW is going to be the way to go. Just self-fulfillment and forget the other gender. I mean, on the good side of it is, In Japan, I think they're working on like artificial intelligence girlfriends, so that's pretty good. And then also robotic girlfriends are being worked on. Not quite perfect yet, but give it some time, and before you know it, you'll have your dream girl. And then a little cherry on top of the sundae. In time, science is going to help us produce children without the need of women. So, yeah, women might altogether just become obsolete. So, that's on the bright side if they don't get their stuff together. But in the meantime, I do have faith in you ladies. Please get together, work it out. Whenever I see like a guy going the path of being like a bad dude, I talk to them myself. I think it's my responsibility, along with other men's responsibility, to be like, hey man, don't be that way towards women, because we wouldn't want them to be that way towards us. But in my opinion, I think it's more on the women's side that, hey, we got the hive mind, we must screw men over, and then you got your legendary cards in the pack of Pokemon cards, the good women, that just seems super rare, like, oh, I got this super rare card, low drop rate. But yeah, let's work towards a better future together, okay? Alright, peace.
Yo, bro, I think you're forgetting something. Haha.
Good cue, Mickey. Yeah, also take into consideration that I could be wrong about absolutely everything, so I guess I didn't mess up anyone's life now that I said that. Yeah, and I can never wear this shirt again. I guess it's the last time I'm wearing this shirt, so, yeah, peace.